All right, let's jump into something pretty cool today.
Okay.
Virtual spaces, We've got articles, videos, even some stuff on social media.
Wow.
All about this platform, Go Brunch. It's trying to hanging out online, feel as real as, meeting face to face.
Like in person.
Exactly. Like really being there with people.
That would be amazing. What's it like?
Yeah. So, and the thing is, Go Brunch, they're going beyond just those typical video calls. It's not just about seeing faces in those little boxes on the screen. It's more about creating an entire environment.
Oh, wow.
That you can customize and actually interact with.
So it's not just like those virtual backgrounds people use.
Exactly. Forget those boring backgrounds. We're talking about building an actual virtual coffee shop or a super swanky conference room.
Oh, wow.
You could even make a virtual escape room.
No way. All online?
Yeah, all online. And these spaces,
cool.
They aren't just for looks. They're really built for collaboration and actually building a community.
That makes sense. It's like they're trying to make the internet feel more like a real space where people can come together.
Yeah. And that's actually where their tagline comes in, they say.
No, what is it?
The internet should be based on rooms, not pages.
Interesting.
They want to shift the focus away from just consuming content to actually being able to participate.
Right.
Actively participating in a shared space.
I get it. So it's about actually doing things together online.
Exactly.
Not just reading or watching.
Yeah. So how does this whole Go Brunch thing actually work?
Wait, how do you use it?
Well, from what I've seen, it's all about customization. You build these really awesome virtual spaces that fit your own style and, whatever you need to use it for.
Got it.
Plus, it has a ton of features. Oh, like what?
Built-in video chat. You can share all kinds of media.
Nice.
They even have interactive stuff like whiteboards and quizzes. You can even embed websites.
So it's like a whole virtual world you can build.
Right. And I think that customization is really key because it lets people create really unique virtual experiences.
So it's not just a cookie cutter thing.
No, not at all.
Everyone can make it their own.
Exactly. Imagine a photographer. They could design a virtual studio. To show off their work and even host workshops.
I like that.
Or an entrepreneur could set up a virtual storefront.
That feels like a real shop.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that actually leads us to Peggy MacArthur.
Who's that?
She's a professional photographer.
Oh, cool.
And she is absolutely killing it with Go Brunch.
Really?
Yeah, she's got 35 years of experience.
Wow, she's a pro.
But she wasn't always a virtual whiz.
What do you mean?
She actually told us that she really struggled with those traditional online courses.
Oh yeah, the ones that are just watching videos.
Yeah,
and stuff.
The ones that feel kind of impersonal and lonely.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just you by yourself.
Right.
So what's really fascinating about Peggy's story is that she saw this gap, this lack of real connection in typical online learning. And she thought, I'm going to create something different.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's where Go Brunch came in.
So what did she do?
She built this incredible community on Go Brunch.
What's it called?
It's called Time Benders.
Time Benders.
Yeah, it's a space where photographers can connect with each other, learn from each other.
Nice.
And even, help each other grow their businesses.
That's so cool.
Yeah. She's even using Go Brunch now to run workshops.
Wow.
And she offers co-working spaces.
Serious?
And she has a whole certification program going on.
All through Go Brunch. All on Go Brunch. It's amazing.
That's incredible. She's really using it to the fullest.
Yeah.
It's not just a hobby for her. It's her whole business.
Exactly. It's a fantastic example of how someone took this platform and made it their own.
Right.
Not just for their own personal gain,
right,
but to actually build a real community and offer something really valuable to others.
That's inspiring.
And speaking of showing off what's possible, Go Brunch is having this big event.
Oh, what is it?
It's called the WorldBuilding Expo.
WorldBuilding, what's that?
Yeah, it's this 2-day extravaganza where they're showcasing all these incredible digital spaces that people have created and how people are using them, for connecting, learning, doing business.
So it's like a Go Brunch convention.
Kind of, but it's all virtual.
Wow.
And what's cool about this WorldBuilding Expo is that they're not just like having a virtual event.
Right.
They're actually trying to give you that feeling of being there in person, like that immersive experience.
So it's not just like watching videos of presentations.
No. They have interactive demos.
Oh, cool.
Networking opportunities, workshops.
That's awesome.
They're really going all out.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, and they even have some special deals.
Oh, nice.
For people who attend the expo, so it's worth checking out.
Definitely.
It's clear they're really excited about this whole virtual space thing, and they want everyone to get on board.
We want everyone to join the party.
Exactly. And it's not just hype.
What do you mean?
What we're seeing with Go Brunch and this expo, it really shows a big shift in how we're thinking about online interaction.
In what way?
It's becoming less about passively consuming things and more about actively participating and creating.
So it's not just about like scrolling and watching anymore.
Right.
It's about actually doing stuff and building things.
Exactly.
I like that.
Okay, so we've got the big picture now.
Yeah, we see what Go Brunch is all about.
But what's it like, on the ground level?
Like, for someone actually using it?
Yeah, like for someone like Peggy using it day to day.
That's a good question.
One thing that really struck me is how she uses gamification.
Gamification? What do you mean?
Like, she makes things into games.
Oh, interesting.
To make learning more fun.
Right.
She actually creates these things called riddle rooms.
Riddle rooms.
In Go Brunch.
What are those like?
Yeah, so she even partnered with this nonprofit to build a riddle room that helps teenagers learn about important topics.
Wow, that's really creative.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's a great way to get people engaged.
Yeah. And it's not just about the fun factor either.
What else is it about?
Peggy really emphasizes building like a really strong and supportive community within her Go Brunch space.
Okay.
She makes it clear that it's a safe place to ask questions, to admit when you don't know something. Right.
And to learn from each other.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like a judgment-free zone. Where people can feel comfortable learning and growing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about the people.
Exactly.
And how they use it to create something positive. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's important for people to feel like they can, take risks and make mistakes and ask for help without feeling judged.
Especially online.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you need that extra layer of like safety and comfort.
It seems like Peggy's done a great job of creating that kind of atmosphere in her community.
Totally. And she pairs that support with a healthy dose of like accountability.
I like that.
She encourages people to actually use what they learn, to show up, do the work, and
put it into practice.
Yeah, and help each other along the way.
It's not just about learning stuff, it's about actually doing it. Exactly.
And it sounds like she's created a system that helps people do that.
Yeah, and it seems like the Go Brunch platform itself actually has some pretty neat features.
Oh, like what?
To help with that whole collaboration and accountability thing.
Okay.
Like they have built-in file sharing.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, so people can easily like swap documents and resources.
That makes sense.
And there are even controls for, who can use their microphone and camera.
Oh, that's good for keeping things organized.
Exactly, especially with like larger groups.
Yeah, you don't want everyone talking at once.
Right.
It's all about finding that balance between letting people participate, but also keeping things manageable.
Totally. And I thought this was a really clever feature.
What is it?
You can temporarily embed a website or a YouTube video.
Oh, that's cool.
During a session.
So if you're like in the middle of a workshop and you want to show everyone something,
exactly,
you can just pop it up on the screen.
Right. Yeah. Like if you want to show a quick tutorial or something.
That's so much easier than like sending everyone a link.
Right. And then when you're done with it, you can just take it down so it doesn't like...
Right, it doesn't clutter up the space.
Yeah, clutter up your space with a bunch of links.
It's like they've really thought about how people actually use these virtual spaces and what features would be most helpful.
Totally. And they've got this like really slick presentation mode.
What's that?
That totally changes the layout of the room.
Oh, interesting.
It basically puts the shared screen or the presenter's camera like front and center, and then everyone else's video feeds are like neatly lined up below.
So it's good for like webinars, presentations.
Yeah. Anything where you want that, like more formal lecture style setup.
That makes sense because not every virtual meeting needs to be super interactive.
Right.
Sometimes you just need people to focus on the presentation.
Exactly. It's like a Swiss Army knife of...
A Swiss Army knife?
Of virtual spaces.
What do you mean?
You can adapt it for all sorts of situations.
That's cool. So it's really flexible.
Yeah, super flexible.
That's what makes these platforms so exciting. It's not just about recreating what we do in person. It's about creating new possibilities.
Totally.
For how we connect and learn and work together.
And remember that WorldBuilding Expo we talked about?
Yeah, the one in November?
Yeah, well, they're doing another one in December.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it must have been.
They must have had a good turnout.
Yeah, super successful.
That's smart of them to keep the momentum going. These events are great for showing people what's possible with virtual spaces.
And from what they've shown us so far, this expo looks even bigger and better.
Oh, wow.
Like, imagine this massive virtual hall packed with all these booths, and each booth represents like a different Go Brunch room.
So you can just like walk around and explore different spaces.
Exactly. You can wander through, explore the different spaces, chat with people, learn from experts.
It's like a virtual trade show.
Yeah. But like on a whole other level.
They're really creating a whole digital world where you can connect with people in a completely new way.
And get this, they're actually encouraging people to connect with communities outside of their own like niche.
What do you mean?
Like they want photographers to mingle with entrepreneurs and business people to talk to artists.
Oh, interesting.
It's all about like cross-pollination.
I like that.
And collaboration between different fields.
Breaking down those barriers between different groups.
Exactly.
And that could lead to some really cool collaborations.
Yeah, it's like they're building this virtual ecosystem where ideas can just flow freely and all sorts of interesting things can happen.
And speaking of new things, have you seen those founder accounts they're promoting?
Oh, yeah. On Global Business Plaza?
Yeah, they seem to be targeting serious businesses with those.
Yeah, like entrepreneurs who are really looking to grow their business online.
And they offer a lot of extra features.
Yeah, and support.
It's a smart move by Go Brunch. They're showing that they're not just for casual users.
Right.
They're serious about helping businesses succeed.
And those prices, I mean, they're not messing around.
$425 a year.
Yeah, for an annual subscription.
That's a pretty penny.
It shows they're aiming for a professional clientele.
But if you're serious about building an online community, or taking your business virtual, might be worth the investment.
Totally. It all comes down to value, right?
Exactly.
Like if the platform gives you the tools and the support and the community that you need to actually succeed online, then that price could be totally reasonable.
Okay, so we've talked about the community aspects.
Yeah.
But what about the technical side of things?
Oh, yeah. So one of the videos we watched did a deep dive on the share button functionality.
Oh, interesting.
And it's packed with like all sorts of cool stuff.
The share button is so important for collaboration. It's how you bring content into the space.
Exactly. And you can share your screen, obviously. Right. But you can also temporarily embed whiteboards, documents, Google Slides.
Wow, even Google Slides.
Yeah, even Google Forms. It's super versatile.
That's really helpful.
Yeah, and that integration with like existing tools is really important because it means people don't have to learn a whole new system.
They can just use what they're already familiar with.
Exactly. They can bring the tools they already know and love.
Right into Go Brunch.
Right into Go Brunch.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And they also talked about how the platform handles shared files.
Wow.
You can upload files directly into the chat.
Oh, that's convenient.
Which is super convenient, but you have to make sure that file sharing is enabled in the room settings.
Oh, right. So there are some settings you need to adjust.
Yeah, it's a good reminder to pay attention to those settings.
And customize them to fit your needs.
Exactly.
Especially when it comes to security and stuff.
Yeah, you want to have control over what information is being shared.
Exactly.
And here's a little detail that I thought was interesting.
Okay, what is it?
When you share a file, it pops up in the text chat, but it doesn't actually stick around.
Oh, really?
After the session ends.
So if it's something important, you need to download it during the meeting.
Exactly.
That's good to know.
It's one of those little things that's easy to overlook.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's good that they pointed it out.
Definitely.
They also gave us a tour of the toolbar. Oh, yeah.
And all the controls that you have as the host.
Like what?
Like you can mute and unmute people. You can give them access to cameras and screen sharing.
Yeah.
You could even boot someone out if they're being disruptive.
So you have a lot of power as the host to make sure things run smoothly.
Exactly. And one thing that really impressed me was how much emphasis they put on understanding what it's like to be a guest in the room.
Okay.
Like they actually logged in as a non-admin user.
Oh, wow.
To show what the toolbar looks like from a guest's perspective.
That's really cool.
It's like they're really trying to put themselves in the shoes of their users.
Yeah, so they can design the platform in a way that's easy for everyone to use.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of user experience, they had some really interesting insights.
Oh, about what?
About how people are actually using those co-working spaces in Go Brunch.
Okay.
Apparently Peggy's biggest challenge, what is it?
Isn't getting people to show up. It's getting them to leave.
Really?
Yeah. They just love hanging out in her virtual space.
Wow, so she's really created something special.
Yeah.
It sounds like people feel really comfortable and connected there.
Yeah, it's like a real community, even though it's online.
It shows you that even with technology, we can still create those human connections.
Totally.
And build real relationships.
And Peggy, she doesn't just like leave people to their own devices, you know?
Right.
She hosts all sorts of activities and events.
Oh, like what?
In her Go Brunch space to keep things interesting.
Okay.
Like she does these Get Dollar Tea Done sessions.
What are those?
Every other week, where everyone just comes together and works on their own projects.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's like a virtual co-working session.
I like that.
And then she brings in like experts for monthly workshops on different topics.
So it's not just about co-working, it's also about learning.
Exactly. And she even, oh, this is a funny detail.
What is it?
She uses a Luma calendar embedded in her Go Brunch space.
Oh, that's smart.
So everyone can see what's coming up.
Yeah, so people know what events are happening.
But here's the thing. She doesn't include the locations of paid events.
Oh, interesting.
On the public calendar.
So you have to be a member to find out.
Yeah. Only paying members know where to go.
That's a clever way to encourage people to join.
Yeah, it's a little incentive.
Makes sense.
So after all this deep diving into Go Brunch, what's the takeaway for our listeners?
I think the main thing is that if you're looking to connect with people online or build a community or even grow your business, platforms like Go Brunch are worth exploring.
Definitely. It's like a glimpse into the future of online interaction.
Where virtual spaces are just as real as the physical world.
Exactly. It's not just about like scrolling and liking anymore.
Yeah, it's about actually being present and engaging with others.
And as these spaces keep evolving, they're going to play a bigger and bigger role in our lives.
Both personally and professionally.
Yeah. So I encourage you, go check out Go Brunch.
Yeah. See what it's all about.
Maybe even attend that WorldBuilding Expo.
Right. And think about how you could use these platforms to create something amazing, something that really connects with people.
Yeah. And makes a difference.